Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 2 of the Denver Bronco Roundup, a proud podcast of the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. We have a fantastic show planned for you tonight. I'm your host, of course, and with us tonight, of course, we have a special guest every single week. We'll find out who it is now.
You talking to me?
Give him a heater.
You're the best. I'm the worst.
It's time to bring in the big guns.
Finally.
Here's the deal. I'm the best there is. Plain and simple.
Well, look who it is. It's Mr. Jody Moncrief. I know this is supposed to be a rotating schedule. Had a couple of issues trying to get a few people rounded up as summer has hit. Everyone's out and about. Hope you're out and about too, having some fun out there. But kind of put me in a bind. Not that it was a bad bind. Jody Moncrief is here for episode number 2. Welcome, Jody Moncrief.
Welcome, Broncos country.
How you doing, buddy?
Good, and yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I was just, like I was mentioning, it was super hot last time I was on for episode number 1. Not just because we had a super hot episode, because it was actually warm here in Montana. Got down. I mean, it was rainy, like 24 hours, cool. Got back up to my studio again today, and it's sweltering hot once again. So welcome back to summer, official day of summer, as a matter of fact.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's been hot here too, and windy.
Yeah. Oh, even better, like a blow dryer then.
Yeah.
Fantastic, man. We got any plans for this summer?
Nothing major, really. You guys?
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, and maybe I'm letting a little bit too much information out of the gate. I don't even know if I should be saying this. It might be a chance that I come all the way up here from Montana and get all the way down for a Denver Broncos training camp. I'm trying to make it happen. So fingers crossed, man. That would be fantastic. I'd love to do that, and not only for myself,
I'd love to go too,
but for Denver Bronco Roundup, all the listeners out there, to get all that firsthand insight and knowledge. I would love to be able to pass that along to all our fans. So fingers crossed, man. Maybe it's a little bit of an outside chance, and like I said, maybe I'm jumping the gun and giving any information, but that's the hope, idea, plan. But yeah, that would make it probably one of the better summers I've had in a while. So I mean, first time I'd ever be able to go to a Denver Broncos training camp. So I think that would be an awesome thing to do. So, man, I don't know if are you a Hockey's fan too, man?
I am. Disappointing game last night.
Oh man, I know we're going to jump into Broncos here in just a little bit, everybody. But I know that Broncos country sits mainly right there in Denver, and most of those Broncos fans are also Avalanche fans. And man, I'll tell you what, when they came out for the schedule, saying, "Hey, this is the schedule for the Stanley Cup Finals," I put out a reply, and I said, "Why do we need to know past 4 games?" And I put out my brooms. And I'll be honest, through the first couple games, man, I was looking pretty good. But last night was a flip the script night. I'll tell you that.
Last night was rough.
Yeah, man.
After they overturned that first goal, it went downhill from there.
Yeah, I know. I was so excited. I'm like celebrating. It's like, yep, here we go, 1-0, And then, like, you're right, it flipped the script, and all of a sudden they get an easy goal. He was trying to bring it across the front of the crease and misplayed it, but scooted right past into the back of the net. Next thing you know, we go from being up 1-0 to being down 1-0. Didn't get much better from there, man. So,
yeah, no, it did not.
No. Well, we'll hopefully Game 4, we'll rebound, take one down in Tampa, and head back to Denver. So
Now we have a goalie controversy again.
Oh, of course. It's been a while since we haven't, right?
Right.
It seems it's last time I remember there was a guy that had like 3 letters on the back of his jersey. One started with R, ended in Y, and we didn't have much of a controversy then.
No.
Beyond that, it seems like it's been some up and down years.
Yes.
A little bit of NFL news. We have a retirement or a re-retirement or a second retirement, however you want to put it. What do you think about Rob Gronkowski hanging it up, buddy? Is it the end?
I'm a little surprised with Tom Brady coming back. I thought he would go back with his BFF down in Tampa.
Yeah, definitely BFFs. That's for dang sure. You know, it's funny. I saw him about a week ago. I can't remember what he was doing. He's on some show or promoting something, and I'll be honest, he didn't look like the physical specimen he once was. He looked a little bit thinner. And I went, that doesn't seem like that's a Rob Gronkowski going to training camp type of body, in my opinion.
Right.
But
and he lost a lot of weight when he went to the WWE the first retirement. So,
there you go.
Maybe
did you follow his WWE career?
Not really. It was pretty short.
Okay, very good. I didn't know if you'd be able to give me some stats or some records on that. Jody seems like he's always our stat guy, so seems about appropriate, for you to be throwing out some stats. So, all right, man. Well, before we get started, I just want to talk a little bit about Quadcast and Quadcast microphone by HyperX Gaming. It comes with a built-in anti-vibration shock mount, tap to mute sensor, and with LED indicator. It has stereo, omnidirectional, cardioid and bi-directional settings. It's PC, PS5, PS4, and Mac compatible. I'll be honest, though, HyperX Gaming and Quadcast microphones aren't a official sponsor of the Denver Bronco Roundup or Rocky Mountain Sports Network. It's used by the majority of our podcasters and comes highly recommended by hosts like me. All right, buddy. Let's go for a ride. You ready?
Let's go for a
ride. All right.
Buckle up.
All right. So if anybody saw the post, we got topic number 1. Topic number 1. By the way, if you go out there, if you follow Denver Bronco Roundup, the Denver Bronco Roundup, or Denver Bronco Roundup as it's known on Facebook, you go out to Rocky Mountain Sports Network, you'll see updates on what the upcoming show is, what the itinerary is. Gives you the opportunity to be able to jump in and have some comments. So questions and the like. So topic number 1, man. Russell Wilson's contract and his new contract. When and how much, buddy? I want to let you start that off, man.
Sooner the better, in my opinion. The longer they wait, the more it's going to cost. I mean, you have Kyler Murray that's going to get paid. You have Lamar Jackson that's going to get paid soon. You have, right there, that's 2 big contracts that are coming due. Burrows is going to get paid, Joe Burrows. Yep. And I think Herbert's going to get paid pretty soon. So,
the
longer you wait, the higher it goes. They never go down. So,
it's been a while since we've seen the salaries go down. I can't even. I don't know if that's ever even happened, to be honest. But you're absolutely right. Lamar Jackson, obviously, first on the list. He's going to be paid because, well, he's almost holding out of camp, if I remember right. Is that correct? Do you remember?
Correct. I think he did show up for mandatories, but
he ended up showing for mandatories. All right, but he's obviously been vocal. He wants his money, and you're right. It's coming soon. So just a little breakdown on what's left on Russell Wilson's contract. 2022, his cap hit, or basically what he's due, is about $24 million, and in 2023 it's $27 million. I don't know. Are you studying our agenda, buddy? Are you?
I did.
It?
Yep.
Are you looking at it right now?
No, I am not.
Okay, good. Maybe I can throw you off. So number 1, who makes the most money? I'll give you the numbers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, $50.2 million. Number 2?
I'm not sure.
All right. I won't play this game for too long then. Number 2, Deshaun Watson. By the way, Deshaun Watson, a little bit of news. So I guess he's settled 20 of his 24 allegations, hoping to get all 24 cleared. NFL has come out and said that does not matter. We have our own NFL players agreement as far as discipline goes. So this may be going away from a legal matter for Mr. Deshaun Watson, but may still have implications when it comes to his NFL playing days here in the NFL. Number 3, Mr. Patrick Mahomes comes in at $45 million, just $1 million less than Deshaun Watson. Josh Allen comes in number 4 at 43, followed by Derek Carr at 40.5. Number 6, we have a tie, Matt Stafford and Dak Prescott, both tied for $40 million. And then we have another tie. Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins come in at 35. Number 8, Jared Goff at 33.5. Carson Wentz at 32, and Matt Ryan at $30 million. So long list. Kind of shocking. I mean, I remember I was looking through all this information, and they said it's kind of disgusting that Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins is mentioned in the same breath. What do you think on that, man?
Kirk Cousins, he's a good quarterback. He just doesn't win the big games.
Yeah. Do you feel they're an either or? If you were having to re-up Cousins this year, would you re-up him for more or less than Russell?
Less.
Okay. So now we're moving on to Matt Stafford and Dak Prescott at $40 million, more or less than Matt Stafford and Dak Prescott for Mr. Russell Wilson. I'm sorry. We're moving up we're going to find out where he lies in your mind, buddy.
When I heard the 5 years, 250, I was hoping that he would fall somewhere in the Matt Stafford range. I mean, he's already gotten one big contract.
Yep.
And Matt Stafford did not break the bank coming off a Super Bowl victory, or get what I call breaking the bank.
This is true. So you're hoping he's in this range of Matt Stafford, Dak Prescott at 40, maybe Derek Carr at 40.5. Would you push Josh Allen at 43 million?
I think they're going to have to.
Okay. Patrick Mahomes at 45.
I don't want to or like it, but you're
okay,
committed now. So
are we looking at 5 years, 250 million in your mind? Is that what the contract looks like? All said and done.
I think somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah. I think it's going to be tough to get away from that. I mean, I would love for Russell Wilson to be that guy that takes a discount. Side note: Tom Brady. Do you remember what his salary is?
I think he was right around 25 million.
25 million, exactly right. So,
I mean, he's always taking a team-friendly deal. So, yeah,
it's something that every single fan base wants and talks about and asks about. Is we want our quarterback to be that team-friendly guy. We want our receiver to be that team-friendly guy. Now we want our cornerback to be the team-friendly guy, right? We want everyone to take a hometown discount.
It never works that way.
It doesn't usually work that way. Do you think he becomes the highest paid quarterback? Do you think he goes above Aaron Rodgers at 50.2?
If they don't get it done soon, I think so. I mean, if they drag it out till the end of this year, I think he will go above 50 a year.
And that's a good point. A lot of people are pointing out the fact that, Russell Wilson did not have his absolute best year last year. He was hurt last year. He missed some games. Didn't look good in the last time he was in the playoffs in 2020, right? So, this is a year where he could play himself into a much better contract.
Right.
So, like you said, not only from the fact that, we have a Lamar Jackson, we have Justin Herbert, we have Joe Burrows, we have all these names out there that are looking to get paid and are going to go ahead and move the market further and further up. But if we wait until Russell Wilson has a fantastic season, which we all hope that Russell Wilson has a fantastic season, it might cost, Broncos country a little bit more. It might cost that Walmart checkbook a little bit more at the,
And I think he sees that too, an owner that can easily afford the deal. So.
You think that plays a part into it?
I do.
All of a sudden, as a player, you're like, hey, wait. Daddy Warbucks up there's got the cash. It's okay, man. It's all right. We got to.
And I don't think he's in a hurry to sign his deal because of that, because the next guy in line will get paid.
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean,
there's
and
four
to that
guys
point,
right in front of him.
yeah. And to that point, he's not Lamar Jackson out there screaming up and jumping up and down saying, I want a new contract. I want a new
Right.
contract, right?
Right.
All right. Well, Broncos country, either way, I think we got a fantastic quarterback. If you've seen any of the quotes, he was just recently had a little what is it, kids training camp. I forget. All of a sudden, I'm using the wrong terminology, but he was out there putting on his little clinic, and he was asked, if he's going to stay in, if he wants to stay a Bronco, and he said, "Yep, let's go out there and win lots of Super Bowls." So, if what he's saying out there in the media is true, we'll get a deal done. We'll get it all figured out, and we'll have Russell Wilson, a premier quarterback, around in Broncos country for years to come. So.
It'll be nice for a change.
Yeah, 100%. All right, buddy. I know this is a topic that you were getting kind of wrapped up on. Second topic of the night is, can the Denver Broncos defense finally resurrect the no-fly zone in 2022? It's been a while, buddy.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
As much as I would like to hope that they could, I mean, that no-fly zone, it was an elite defense, and it had elite players in the secondary. And do I see that this year? No, but if they can get close or somewhat, I mean, you're still going to have, in my opinion, top 10, top 5 defense.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot to improve on, obviously. The defense was on the field a lot last year, and just to throw some stats out there, stats don't tell all the stories, but they can tell some of the stories. So 22nd in points scored against, 19.71. I'm sorry. I got that back. I'm sorry. Second in points allowed at 18.94. So good showing there. 14th in rushing yards allowed at just over 111 yards. 8th in passing yards allowed at 214. Call it 215, 214.94.
Right.
9th total passing yards allowed of 326. 15th in yards per play at 5.34. This is where it starts getting a little bit scary, though. Third down conversion, 28th at 44.89, man. Remembering back to last season, man, why weren't we getting off the field on third down?
They couldn't generate a pass rush. I mean, Chubb was hurt most of the year. I mean, Malik Reed led this team in sacks last year, and that was the major reason right there. And they couldn't stop the run. Teams gashed them. Look at the Cleveland game. Look at the Oakland game.
Yeah.
They couldn't get big stops when they needed it.
Yeah. Kind of plays out in that 14th in rushing yards allowed, especially when you have big games like that that's going to play. The one thing that I think is going to be really interesting is, just what we can get from that front four. A lot of people have been saying, or I know that we run a 3-4, but a lot of people have been saying we're going to be running with a lot of four in the front.
Right.
Starting nose tackle that DJ Jones has just brought over. One of the things that, not going a little bit further back than the no-fly zone, but I still remember when Neil Smith came over and brought us a Super Bowl as well. And
Yep.
I'm not saying that DJ Jones is a Neil Smith or has the name that Neil Smith did when Neil Smith was playing in the league, but and for the Broncos. But DJ Jones is an elite talent, a young talent. I'm really excited to see what he can do. Deshaun Williams is someone that I was super excited about last year and really came on at the end. And Draymond Jones, I mean, that's your front three. You get a Bradley Chubb, a Nick Benito with his hand in the dirt along that four. I'm excited for what, like you said, we weren't able to generate pass rush. I think DJ Jones is going to be a beast there in the middle at nose tackle. I think he's an instant upgrade in that position.
Oh, he's a major upgrade over Purcell, in my opinion. I mean,
yeah,
stopping the run and generating a pass. Mike Purcell was nothing more than a run stopper.
And then you got guys like Josie Jewell and Justin Sternard and Jonas Griffith and all these guys that we were just a year or two ago saying these are the really young guys, these are the rookies, these are the guys who really need to step up. Well, they've got a few years underneath their belt, and I think that that's going to pay dividends in the way that they play throughout this next year. So
I agree.
I think if you start adding all these pieces up and you start and you add in the fact that our offense is changing now, our offense isn't last year's offense, right?
Right.
Just a little hint, guys. I'm going to read off a comment real quick, Jody, but there is a link to give us your identity as you come across. If you don't want to do that, or if you don't mind, just put your name in prior to putting in your comment, and that way I can read off your name as well. So Facebook user says, if Chubb gets hurt again, I'll try that one more time. If Chubb gets hurt again and is out for the whole season, should we get rid of him?
I don't think they'll pick up his 5th-year option.
Yeah.
I think that spells the end, especially drafting Benito in round 2, I think.
I know it was early in the kind of the rumorville, but a lot of people thought that Bradley Chubb could be one of those key moving pieces, as George Payton has come out and said that he wants to try to get draft picks back, some of the draft picks that he lost when he had to trade for Russell Wilson. He doesn't want to be this, low
on draft capital,
low on draft capital, to enter into these next couple of years. And, Bradley Chubb might be one of those pieces that another team would be willing to take a chance on. What do you think you get for Bradley Chubb if you happen to get traded, buddy?
Oh, right now, not much. I mean, he was hurt last year. He's had one good season, and that was alongside Miller. What's he done without Miller? I think that's why they held on to him. What's the value of trading him for a 5th or a 6th with the upside of him, exploding and having a great season?
Yeah. Well, guess what? You're in the you got a lot of good company here. We got Facebook user coming in saying not much as far as his value. Also, we should have kept Shelby and traded Chubbs. What do you think about keeping Shelby and trading Chubbs now?
I like Shelby, but he, I think, got a lot of overhype for batting passes down. I mean, a lot of times he was blocked, and that was all he could do was jump and bat the ball down. He didn't generate a lot of pass rush. I mean, he was a go-getter out there, but, I mean, there's better out there, and I think that was an easy no-brainer to get Russell Wilson.
So I think the capital could be higher. I guess it all depends on what happens in trading camp, right? If you see a pass rush, an edge rusher go down for another team, all of a sudden Bradley Chubb's interest is going to come up a little bit. He's, from all accounts, he's had a fantastic training camp. I mean, there's nothing better that we'd all love than actually see him go out there and be true to form and get back to his best playing days.
Right.
If he's out there, he's healthy, he's 100%. There's, the defense is going to function at that much higher of a level. Simple as that.
One thing I worry about is if you do try to trade him, you have Randy Gregory, who's coming off the rotator cuff surgery. I mean, that's another guy you've paid that, depending on how rehab and everything goes, he might start the season on PUP.
100%, man. That's the only thing that's a little discerning for me for Randy Gregory. I think he is past his point where he has his off the field issues taken care of, but he is still a guy that does take some injuries from time to time. Bradley Chubb being healthy, him being in rotation and coming in and being one of those guys, I think we could have a really strong rotation across that defensive front if we all stay healthy. Hopefully that's something that we could do. So, all right, what else we got going on here? It looks like Matt Staffiero is jumping in here. Chubb could have a market. He's an expiring contract with an extensive injury. He's got a third grade. I mean, imagine a third round pick grade right now. I mean, imagine his way speaking of right there. So, would you trade Chubb for a third right now?
I don't think they could get a third for him, to be honest.
I don't.
You are looking at a 5. If you're lucky to get a 5 right now,
The Cleveland Browns just picked up the phone, and they like to throw money around like it's nobody's business, or maybe it's the Rams. Who knows?
Right.
The Rams seem like they have it. So third round, you get the call from the Rams or the Browns, and they say in third round for Bradley Chubb, you take it, buddy.
I don't think so. I think right now he's on his rookie deal. He's not costing you a lot of money. You need to see what a healthy Chubb can do.
Well, you're in the minority right now. We got the first Facebook user coming in and saying no. Another one is well, here, I'll throw this one up here. Matt Staffiero, names to keep an eye on in terms of trade are Reisner, Chubb, and Glasgow. Facebook user coming in, why Reisner? He's damn good.
Of all those that he just mentioned, I think Reisner is the one that I think you could see moved.
Yeah,
I think a dark horse to win the left guard position is Neati Moody. And
wow.
I've been saying that for a while. So
yes, you have, sir. Yes, you have. The thing that pulls me back from that is, like you said, when you talk about a Glasgow, when you talk about a Chubb, these are guys that are coming off of injuries. Reisner is your one healthy guy. I don't know if you want to take out of those three guys, if you want to be taking the healthiest of the three, and being your trade value. You have to have a lot of good faith in those other two guys, right?
What I like about Glasgow is when they re-upped him, it was on the cheap, and he can play all three interior positions, both guards, and his best season was at center with Detroit. So
yeah, agreed. It's going to be interesting, man. We have so many players in so many different positions this year. Broncos country is going to be a little bit surprised, as Matt Staffiero pointed out, that there are going to be some names that are going to be thrown out there. It's better to trade a guy and get some capital back than just let these guys go and get nothing for them and still end up on another team. So,
right,
it's gonna come down to some tough decisions. Last year it was Tyree Cleveland. Tyree Cleveland ended up getting traded off, had a fantastic training camp, ended up getting traded off to the Detroit Lions. The next thing you know, Jerry Jeudy goes down game 1, and everyone's looking back and saying, man, it'd be nice to have Tyree Cleveland. He was looking so good. But we got draft capital, and that helps us out in the long run. We knew that we were long in the tooth on that for when it comes to it. Oh, Matt Staffiero. Thank you. Trendy Benson, Tyree Cleveland. I haven't met them both personally, so I maybe get the names mixed up. So I appreciate it, Matt.
Now, I can't blame George Payton on that, though. I mean, you can't turn down what he got for him. So
yeah, exactly. And that's what it's going to come down to with some of these players, right? It might be a Glasgow that goes, or a Reisner that goes, or a Chubb that goes. And whether you think it's a third, or whether like Matt, or whether you think it's a fifth, like maybe Jody's thinking, either way, if that's the best deal we're able to get, and we're long in the tooth and we're looking to get some capital back, it might be a deal that we're willing to take. So no fly zone 2022, just kind of getting back to that. I think it's a possibility with everything that we're doing in the offense, all the upgrades that we're seeing. I think we're going to be able to see a different defense on the field because of exactly what the offense is bringing every single Sunday. We see a guy who has more game-winning drives, more fourth quarter comebacks, has one of the highest QBR ratings. We have a quarterback that's going to be able to put the opposing defense on their heels, and because of that, I think we're going to see a whole different defense from the Denver Broncos, one that's playing with a lead rather than playing from behind or in a low-scoring tied type of game. So,
and one that's aggressive. Vic was a bend don't break kind of guy. He loved that. Give up 99 yards, let him kick a field goal.
Yep, 100%, man. A good way to put it, man. He was a bend no break. I mean, that plays into that third down conversion that we were kind of talking about just a little bit earlier, being 28th in the league. That is horrendous. That's a statistic that we need to absolutely flip this year. There's no reason that we should be last in the league when we're mid or upper pack in almost every other statistic. And I think that's exactly like you said. I think it was very much a bend not break. we'd get down to the 20, we'd lock them down, we'd tighten up, and we'd hold them to field goals a lot of the times because we didn't have that bad of a scoring average with only 19 points allowed per game. So 18.94 to be exact.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm bullish. I'm huge on what I think this Denver Broncos defense can be. I think they're going to be the surprise, and I think at the end of the season, I think there's a possibility that we're talking more about this Denver Broncos defense than we are about this offense, bud.
I can see it, but they do have a lot of, question marks. Bradley Chubb, Randy Gregory, Jonas Griffith. I mean, there's 3 right there. Will Draymond Jones pan out? I mean, that's four guys. Is Josie Jewell going to come back healthy? Is he going to play like he did the first 4 games of last year?
Well, between being Bradley Chubb's agent and being the optimist on what our Denver defense is going to look like, I don't know if I'm going to sign you up for either one of those, man. I tell you what, holy cow. I always like Jody. He'll bring you back down to reality. He doesn't let my head get too big. I can get way too excited. I'm a Denver Broncos fan, as every Broncos country and Denver Bronco Roundup fan member is. So I get a little excited, buddy. Even me, trying to be the level-headed analyst, I can get a little excited. So thanks for bringing me back down to reality, bud.
No, but the potential's there. I mean, I think this defense will be better than last year, and they were a top 3 defense. There's just some question marks that health-wise.
Yeah,
that has my fingers crossed.
Yeah, there is a little bit of fingers crossing. Like you said, I don't know if we'll have all these pieces and parts here when it comes to opening day, when we head up to Seattle and put a licking on the Seahawks. But that being said, I think this is going to be more of a rotational front than I think we've seen in years past, and I think that's going to help us out with the longevity of our players and our overall health along that front line. It'll be interesting to see if my theories play out. But
I agree with that. I think our D-line has good depth this year
for the first time in a while. So
yes.
All right. Let's just take a little break. I just want to talk about the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. The Rocky Mountain Sports Network is a growing media company that aims to provide great content for any and all sports along the Rocky Mountain front. Here's just a small breakdown of what we got going on, bud. We got the Mile High Horsepower with J-Dub. Was on last Friday, had their premiere episode. Fantastic show. Check it out. The Breakdown with Matt Staffiero. That'll be coming back in July, so watch for that. Along with Real Dingers, Rocky Mountain Sports Network exclusive podcast about the Colorado Rockies. The X-League football with Matt Staffiero and Greg Dounda is already starting to get some content, and you can find that over on the Rocky Mountain Sports Network Facebook page. Of course, you can find all of that information, all of the information about what's coming up and what's going on, again, through Rocky Mountain Sports Network. And, of course, for Denver Bronco Roundup, head on over to the Denver Bronco Roundup page. We're available on many platforms, so search us out. So, all right, buddy. We had quite a controversy to wrap up kind of our activities of OTAs and minicamp. Denver Broncos decided to take the final day of minicamp and make it a field day. And James Merlatt, he actually was a friend of the show. He was actually on the 4th and 99 podcast, part of the Rocky Mountain Sports Network back in the day. You can go and search out our show with him on the show. But he didn't take a great liking to the decision. His official tweet, "It's official, field day for the Broncos. No need to practice. It's time for a 3-legged race, drunk tank, and water balloon toss. What a joke." He later followed with a GIF of a mass of minions celebrating with the quote, "A live look at the local reaction to Broncos field day." So James Merlatt took a lot of heat for this position, man. So, but I got a question for you. Was it a good decision to make the final day of minicamp a field day for the Denver Broncos, buddy?
I've been kind of on the fence with it. I can see his side. You've won nothing. You've been in the tanks for the last 6 years. You only get a certain amount of these practices. Take every advantage you can get. And Denver wasted one on, like he said, throwing balloons and playing around.
So you can see both sides of it. That's one side, bud. What's the other
That's
side?
one. The other side is they put in the work. I mean, not the whole team, but all the receivers went to San Diego. They worked with Russell Wilson at his home.
Yeah.
I mean, they were putting in work. So, and at the end of the day, what is one June OTA? Is that going to make or break this team? I don't think so. But with a new coaching staff and new quarterback and new players, you need all the reps you can get and take every advantage you can get, because with the way they've got it structured now, you don't get as many as you want or need.
Yeah. 100%. Sounds like you're leaning one way on that fence. The one thing that I'll say, what the stance that James took was the fact that hey, what team is out there that's taken a field day that's won a championship, and I totally get that, but there is something to be said for the camaraderie, the team building, and everything that needs to go into it, and an extra day off, just like an early out of school from your favorite teacher can really get a lot of camaraderie going for that class, right? I understand where the mentality is. I will, however, 100% agree with them. I don't think this should have been a day that we wasted. I've been a Denver Bronco fan for decades at this point. I remember when OTAs and mini camps meant you put on the pads.
Yep.
You went 2-a-days.
Right.
You carried a few guys out on stretchers each day, and that's why you had a practice squad. It was a rough and tumble business. It was a lot of work, and these guys went at it for an extended period of time. Now, I'm not saying that the NFL Players Association has done a wrong thing in what they've done, but I tell you one thing: you better take advantage of every opportunity that they've given you at this point, because they haven't given you a whole lot of opportunity to just throw these days away. You got places like Minnesota that are getting fines because they're actually practicing too hard, too much.
Too hard. Yep.
You know what I mean? Whatever it happens to be. So, some days it's okay to be taking the heat of taking a fine because you guys were working just a little bit too hard. I don't know if that news would have been terribly bad for Broncos country. So,
right. Celebrate after you win. You've won nothing.
Yes. Yeah. And for me, I to go in, I think that they could have went in and said, hey guys, we're going to go ahead. We're going to put in our final day of minicamp. And then after that, I want everyone to come back with your families to the facility tomorrow. It's non-team activities. Everyone's just, it's off the calendar. It's just fun. It's fun days at Bronco land. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So come back with all your family. Let's have a good time tomorrow. If you want to, that's up to you. It's and take that, just utilize the day that you have.
You only get so many of them.
You only get so many. So yeah, I guess it was,
especially with the new coach and quarterback. I think that's the big thing, right? New coaching staff, new scheme, new ownership. You know what I mean? There's not a whole lot of things that you can't say aren't new about the Denver Broncos, and time is the essence a lot of times in order to get this all taken care of. So, oh boy, bud. Well, hopefully we don't take as much heat as James Marilat on 104.3 The Fan, because we have that same. He is very
opinionated. He definitely has an opinion, and has a way of putting it out there, and certainly gets the reaction. Let's just put it that way. Knows how to get the reaction. So, all right, bud. We got one last segment. It's about ready to head into overtime. So here we go, bud.
You got something to say? Say it.
I got something to say.
You got something you want to say to me?
I'm sorry. Did you say something?
What did you say?
All right, buddy. I did a little poll the other day. Sorry, I'm trying to get it all pulled up. All of a sudden, my computer decided it didn't want to work for me. I ever have those days, man? It's like,
yeah.
So getting it all pulled up, put a little poll out there. Just wanting to know how the AFC West is going to look come the end of the year. And let's just get this up here real quick. 2 seconds. All right. So anybody that's just listening along, what we're pulling up is just a first through fourth list of the AFC West. We got obviously the Denver Broncos. I had to make sure that I do this all right. The Los Angeles Chargers, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Kansas City Chiefs. We used to have a dollar bucket or a dollar jar for every time we used to say the San Diego Chargers and the Oakland Raiders. So I'm trying really hard. I know it's been a few years, but it's ingrained in my mind and my brain and what I've grown to be, bud. So, all right, bud. So we're gonna count this off. Any guesses who took fourth place?
I'm going to say the Oakland Raiders by a wide margin.
Yeah, they took it by a wide margin. Now, keep in mind, this is been shared out through the Denver Bronco Roundup Facebook page, out onto the internet. This is all Denver Bronco fans. I don't expect this to be the most accurate poll out there, but it'll give us a little idea of where we have some expectations, I think, overall. And the expectations for the Raiders are they are not going to probably come in first, as they take 80% and of the fourth place votes and end up in that fourth place because of that. So, agree? Disagree?
I agree, and the main reason is I do not like their head coach.
Oh, there you go, buddy. There you go. Well, I don't think you'll find too many out there in Broncos country that are going to say,
McDaniel
"You're
fans.
wrong, Jody.
Right.
You're wrong." Wish Josh McDaniels is our quarterback,
Right.
our coach again. All right, bud. Well, awesome. We'll get your list at the end. See where we sit at overall. Okay, man. All right, next slide. Coming in third, the Chiefs and the Chargers were both tied with about 40% overall. I was kind of surprised by this, man. I not that I don't see them as equals, but I'm kind of surprised that they were sitting in the third spot.
You're talking the Chiefs?
Well, yeah, I mean,
I think that people are underestimating Tyreek Hill's loss. I mean, he was what drove that offense. I mean, he could run deep and would take 2 or 3 guys.
100%, buddy. Me and you are on the same page there. So this is where they are slide a little bit sideways here, buddy. But we'll catch up at the end. In second place were the Broncos with 28%. How do you feel about the Broncos in second place, buddy?
That's actually where I have them finishing.
A little sneak peek into Jody's
Little sneak
final
peek.
tally there, buddy. All right, so a lot of Broncos country might be up in arms saying, what? The Broncos on a Broncos poll took second? Well, don't be worried. They took 72% in the first place category. Basically what that says is Broncos were only ever ranked first or second in the poll. So no one ever thought that the Broncos would finish in third or fourth when it comes to Broncos country. What do you think the possibilities that we take a third or fourth spot are, buddy?
It's very possible, but I don't predict that. I mean, we were 7-9 last year, and atrocious quarterback, atrocious on offense.
Yep.
And now Russell Wilson, I think, is worth at least 3 to 4 wins. So
gonna look a little different this year, that's for sure.
It is.
At least what's on the field is going to look different. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this plays out. I think, like most have alluded to, if you listen to anybody out there, there's a lot of people that are saying, hey, this is the most competitive division in probably all of the NFL, the AFC West. So figuring that you got to play every single one of these teams twice, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. All right, buddy, one more slide for you. This is how it all broke down. So Broncos got 72%. Chiefs actually got the second most votes for first place at 16.6. Chargers had 11.4%, and as I alluded to, the Raiders came in with 0% first place votes by the Denver Bronco Roundup fans out there. So I appreciate everybody lovingly hating the Raiders exactly the same as most of us do.
Right.
Very good, buddy. So why don't you go ahead and give us your final listing? How did you have the standings set up?
I have the Raiders in fourth.
Okay.
I have the Chargers in third. I'm not high on their coach. He makes erratic moves, and going for it in the fourth down at his 20. I mean, he makes a lot of risky moves. I have the Broncos in second. I mean, whole new coaching staff, new quarterback. I mean, that's a lot to ask for in 1 year to, flip it from worst to first like that with everything new.
Yeah.
And I still have KC number one just because until you beat, they're the champs, and until you got to beat them.
Yeah. Yeah. I can respect that. How's that? I can respect that. Mine are just a little bit different. I will agree with all the Denver Bronco Roundup fans. We'll put them in at 0% chance of getting first, and I'll put them in fourth place. I'm going to go ahead and I'll put our Chiefs in third. I'm going to put our Broncos in second, and that would put our the Los Angeles Chargers. Make sure I don't owe $1 to the bucket. That put them in first place, buddy. A little bit different on aspect or perspective than maybe you had. I saw a team that went out there, and whether it be a quarterback, a wide receiving core, a running back, I saw an offense that was fairly dominant out there playing on the field. Their detriment was their defense, and they went out there and they loaded up. They've tried to go at it from every aspect, and I think Khalil Mack, though he's been down a few years, I think he still can be a wrecking ball. And I think when you put him on a defense that's surrounded with more talent, that will show. They add J.C. Jackson. They just are, they've addressed that side of the ball. They almost exclusively address the defensive side of the ball when it comes to offseason and the draft.
Right.
So,
one that nobody mentions is, I think, a sneaky pickup for them is Bryce Callahan. If he stays healthy, he was Denver's best cornerback for 2 years, really.
Yeah, that's true.
Besides injuries.
Yeah.
And he's probably the best still slot cornerback in the game when healthy. So
I agree, buddy. I agree. He it'll be interesting. Like I said, I think that defense is loaded up. If they can keep those points down where they don't have to score 30 plus points a game in every single game in order to take out a win. Literally, I think I'd had to go through, I should have went through the schedule, but I think if you could hold a team to, 25 points for the Los Angeles Chargers defense, you're going to win in a tremendous amount of games for them in 2021. They were just outscored because their defense was atrocious. And so that scares me a little bit. Them getting on the right side on their defense could, as far as I'm concerned, could spell trouble.
I just think their head coach needs to take a step back and not so many, extreme plays. It's okay to punt once in a while.
Yeah. It's interesting. He could be like that. I know there's one college that doesn't believe they've never punted. They don't have a punter. They go for it on fourth every single time. He said the statistics play out in his favor, and boy, that would be a rough go, like you said, when you're sitting on your own 20-yard line, that's not the place you want to be. But maybe just maybe he comes into his own this year. Maybe with his team playing a little better, he doesn't have to feel like he has to take so many chances.
Right.
I'm not sure exactly what we'll get out of the coaching staff. All I know is I hate to say it, Broncos country, but they got an incredible offense.
You got talent all over the field.
They got talent all over the field in the receivers, in the running back, at the quarterback position, and now they're starting to build up on defense. And I just think that might be a little bit too much with the Denver Broncos implementing so many new things in this new year: quarterback, offensive scheme, coaching staff, owner, you name it. Just a little bit too much. I would say if we were going to put 2023 projections out there, which I don't know if those would have any merit whatsoever, I am more bullish on what we can do in year two with all of these new pieces coming into its sophomore season.
Yep. Just get seasoned up a little bit.
All right, man. Well, before we wrapped up this evening, I told our viewers in episode 1 that I would come back with some trivia information on the Mile High Salute. I don't know if you read the agenda. Did you read it? Did you pick up the trivia, buddy?
I did.
All right. This was shocking to me. And I saw the interview, obviously very old interview with Terrell Davis. He was talking about this and speaking, kind of going back on that Super Bowl season of 97 and of course 98. And he said, when the Mile High Salute came out, that was not the original name for it. That's not the name that I or my teammates wanted. The Mile High Salute was supposed to be the No Limit Soldiers. And he said, despite all our efforts, there was just absolutely no way we could not get the No Limit Soldiers to pick up and actually get into steam. Once the Mile High Salute was announced, there was no turning back at that point. The No Limit Soldiers was not fighting that uphill battle. I just thought it was so funny because, boy, how iconic has the Mile High Salute became for Broncos country, man.
Yep.
Honestly, we didn't have anything like that. There was always Lambeau leaps and stuff like this that were happening around the league. And, we never had our own little shtick. And then all of a sudden, Terrell Davis pops up one day, puts his hand up to the crest of his helmet and salutes the fans. And holy cow,
it stuck.
It stuck. It wasn't the No Limit Soldiers that stuck, but it was the Mile High Salute. And man, we're going to have that forever. So that being said, Broncos fans, Broncos fans, Broncos country. Thank goodness we have the Mile High Salute, and not the No Limit Soldiers. I doubt that would have actually held out.
I don't know if that would have stuck, right?
For as long as we have had the Mile High Salute. So, well, buddy, I think we're about ready to wrap up the show. You got any closing comments? Anything you want to say to the Denver Bronco Roundup fans?
Just excited for training camp to start and can't wait for this season to start. I think it's going to be a good year.
I agree completely. Obviously, for a guy who's kind of angling, trying to get to that training camp, I'm super excited for it. Regardless if I make it or not, I think that there's going to be a lot of good stories that come out, and we're going to be talking about it in the few short weeks before regular season kicks off. We'll be talking a lot about it. So, well, thank you so much, Jody. I appreciate you coming on. I know that I didn't have you scheduled on for number 2, so thanks for being a pal, jumping on, and being a great contributor.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Well, until next time, until episode 3, everybody, have a fantastic evening and a little Mile High Salute. No Limit Soldiers. All right, buddy.
No limit.
All right, buddy. Take care. Have a good night.
You too.